in the world around us. That seems to be the trend I've seen the last 2, 3 years now is, gosh, it's been a lot of practitioners with very little courage.
I think you're doing just that, inspiring courage, but by sharing your story. And just first of all, let's start with your background as a nurse. I know this was work you were very passionate about. When did you become a nurse? And explain for our listeners, for our viewers, where you worked.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in California. I went to nursing school and graduated in 2011. From there, I went directly into hospital-based nursing. I worked in ICU for several years, and then I specialized most of my career in telemetry, which is cardiac, heart-related abnormalities, heart attacks and strokes and such. Two of my colleagues did, in fact, go into anaphylaxis in addition after receiving their shots. So not only did I hear it through the overhead comms, but I also had colleagues who I knew personally who went into anaphylaxis.
But from what I understand, Gail, you're seeing this play out before your eyes and in your hospital, but you're told that you're not allowed to report this.
Yeah, that's correct. And it wasn't just me that was told that. So it was kind of just understood that we weren't allowed to report anything. Nobody talked about reporting it. And if we did, we were, we would get a head shake and they would say, no, we can't prove that this is from the injections. It was very hush hush. But in addition to that, one of my on leave and then fired me 5 days later. So I'm not going to give up.
And I know
though.
you're yeah, well, and I want to talk about what you're doing now. Your courage certainly continues with Stand Firm Now. The website is standfirmnow.org. But explain the mission here.
Yeah, so, well, I've been involved in multiple lawsuits since I left the medical field. When it happened, I thought, gosh, how is this happening? How can they fire me for refusing an experimental use authorization? Because we're protected at state, federal, and international levels with statutes and laws over the mandate of an experimental use authorization. And what I discovered was, wow, there's a lot of contracts that I've signed that have, where I've given up my constitutional rights, and I've opted in to these things. And so we find ourselves going to court and having no leg to stand on because of different, things that we've done in the past to kind of set us up to not be able to exercise our constitutional rights. And so this project, standfirmnow.org, we've created a legal affidavit in order to set precedents. We have an attorney. He is going to use a legal tactic called a negative averment to assert evidence into the courts. And what we're trying to do is basically compile so much expert witness testimony. Experts, that's doctors, nurses, scientists, people with scientific knowledge, background, and understanding, not necessarily that have had experiences, because it's really more about your standing as an expert and having that background and education to be able to state that the things in the document are true and correct. It's a really straightforward document. It's on the website. You can go and look at it. I think making decisions out of a place of extraordinary love and compassion for the world around me. And that's what this has given me the opportunity to do. So I'm honestly very grateful to be out of the hospital and to be here advocating for things that I find to be, of justice and moral grounds.
Yeah, acting in ethics and morals, something we don't see much of, it seems like, these days, Gail.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for all the time you spent talking with me and just for telling the truth and being my guest today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I was born and raised in California. I went to nursing school and graduated in 2011. From there, I went directly into hospital-based nursing. I worked in ICU for